Chairman CP Committee, CA Nidhinder Kumar Somani ji. Respected Speaker of the Day, CA Reena Bhargav ji from Lucknow. Moderator of the today's session, CA Rekha Somani ji. Respected Chairman and Secretary, CARC in absentia. And the attendees who are present here in this WOW series, which has been started especially for women members, and it is an initiative taken by the CARC for the benefit of women members who are willing to start work from home. This is another program which we are having in the series, in this WOW series, and where we are going to learn today about the recent amendments under GST. Friends, as today we have a learned speaker, CA Reena Bhargav ji, I'm sure we all must be clarifying all our doubts which we are facing in a day-to-day working. At the same time, I hope we will get the insight from Ma'am Reena Bhargav ji, how to respond or how to work in GST, even if while we are sitting at home. Before starting this program, I was just having a word with them, and today's speaker and the moderator, both of them got married, and after that they become a chartered accountant. So this is really a motivation for each member who is present here in the today's webinar. Friends, I understand there are lots of challenges while we are starting our career as a chartered accountant, but I was just listening one video yesterday, and there was a statement from Boman Irani, the actor who is there, who is a very famous actor in Bollywood, Boman Irani, and he was saying chartered accountant, or these two words CA. CA does not mean chartered accountant. CA means committed achievers. So in that case, we all are committed achievers, and being a committed achiever, we need to understand all the intricacies of the rules and regulations, and we need to understand what all possible compliances are there. For starting this session, I request CA Devinder Somani ji, Chairman CP Committee, for his welcome address, and then after that we will hand over the task to the moderator of the today's session, CA Rekha Somani ji. Over to CA Devinder Somani ji for his welcome address.
Thank you, CA Atul Agarwal ji, my elder brother and vice chair. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, audible.
Yeah. Thank you, CA Atul Agarwal ji, my elder brother and vice chairman of the Central India Regional Council of ICI. Today's learned speaker, Reena Madam. In absentia, chairman of CARC, CA Nilesh Gupta ji. Today's moderator, CA Rekha Somani. In absentia, my dear friend, CA Shashikant Chandrakar ji, secretary, CARC, and the viewers of this virtual meeting. Friends, CARC की ये एक अच्छी एक अनोखी पहल है, जिसमें जो हमारी जो वुमेन चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट मेंबर्स हैं, उनके लिए स्पेशली दिस प्रोग्राम हैज बीन डिजाइन फॉर देम ओनली, और ये मेरे ख्याल से 6th प्रोग्राम है इसी सीरीज में. लास्ट मंथ वी हैव स्टार्टेड दिस सीरीज, और अभी तक ये 6ठा प्रोग्राम है. इसमें ऑलमोस्ट एवरी टाइम हमारे जो स्पीकर होते हैं वो भी वुमेन मेंबर्स हैं, और जो मॉडरेटर हैं वो भी वुमेन मेंबर्स हैं. दो हमारी रीजन में एक भी रीजनल काउंसिल मेंबर जो है वुमेन मेंबर नहीं है. सो वुमेन एम्पावरमेंट को करने के लिए, उनको आगे बढ़ने के लिए, आई एम थैंकफुल टू नीलेश गुप्ता जी एंड एंटायर टीम ऑफ CIRC for thinking for the benefit of women members of the profession. आज जो ये जो प्रोग्राम है, this is specially designed for women members, and मेरी आप सबसे रिक्वेस्ट भी है कि आप हमें अपने जो भी सजेशंस हैं, और हम और किस तरह से वुमेन मेंबर्स के लिए ज्यादा बेटर काम कर पाए, क्योंकि हमारी 30% 40% पॉपुलेशन जो है वो आज की डेट में वुमेन मेंबर्स की हो गई है, और उसमें से काफी मेंबर्स जो हैं वो एक्टिव हैं, कुछ नहीं भी हैं. तो हम चाहते हैं जो हमारी वुमेन मेंबर्स हैं वो भी जो कि इनएक्टिव हैं वो भी एक्टिव हों, और जैसे कि रीना मैडम काफी लंबे समय से एक्टिव प्रैक्टिस में है। वुमेन मेंबर्स का प्रैक्टिस में होना अपने आप में बहुत चैलेंजिंग जॉब होता है। तो रीना मैडम काफी लंबे समय से लखनऊ में शी इज वेरी सीनियर मेंबर और लखनऊ में प्रैक्टिस कर रही हैं वो। और इनडायरेक्ट टैक्सेशन में प्रैक्टिस करना अपने आप में काफी टफ होता था। जीएसटी आने के बाद तो सभी करने लग गए, बट जीएसटी से पहले इनडायरेक्ट टैक्सेशन जो है जनरली एडवोकेट लॉबी का कोर एरिया डोमेन में माना जाता था। तो नाउ ये जो है रीना मैडम उसमें इनडायरेक्ट टैक्सेशन में लंबे समय से प्रैक्टिस कर रही हैं। और मेरी आप सभी वुमेन मेंबर से रिक्वेस्ट है कि आप ये सोचें कि हम किस तरीके से 3-4 आवर्स अपना समय किस तरह से प्रोफेशन को दे सकती हैं और एक्टिव प्रोफेशन में वापस से हम पार्ट लें। तो जो ले रही हैं वो और आगे बढ़े, और जो नहीं ले पा रही हैं उनके लिए भी हम जो सीआईआरसी है वो कृतज्ञ है कि इसमें उनके लिए कुछ न कुछ करने को हम तैयार हैं। तो आप हमें इसके बारे में ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा सजेशंस, आपके सुझाव, आप किस तरह के प्रोग्राम चाहते हैं। हम अपने लेवल पे तो प्रयास करते ही हैं जो हमें लगता है वो, बट आपके जब सुझाव आएँगे तो और बेटर तरीके से हम इसका काम को कर पाएँगे। तो चूँकि हमारे साथ रीना मैडम हैं और रेखा जी हैं और वाइस चेयरमैन सर हैं, so without taking much of your time, I hand over the mic to moderator or CA Rekha Somani.
Thank you, sir. Respected Chairman CA Nilesh Gupta, sir. I think he has not joined now. Respected Vice Chairman CIRC, CA Atul Agrawal, sir. I would like to welcome our today's learned speaker, CA Reena Bhargav ma'am, practicing chartered accountant from Lucknow, who will guide us about the recent amendments in GST. And our another learned speaker, CA Yogita Anand ma'am, practicing chartered accountant from New Delhi, who will guide us how to manage work from home. And last but not the least, the viewers of the 6th VCM on Women of Wednesday, aka the WOW series. First of all, I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to Chairman CIRC, CA Nilesh Gupta ji, CA Atul Agrawal sir, CA Shashikant ji, and entire team of CIRC of ICAI for giving me this opportunity to moderate this wonderful event. And I'm very happy to be part of this program and wish to serve more and more to our profession, our members, and our students. Also, I would like to congratulate Team CIRC for this great initiative to guide all our women members who are not in a position to devote full time to the profession. They would be able to at least devote 3-4 hours in a day and feel connected with the profession. Here, we will try to take up all the subjects and the issues to help them in a better position and perform well in future, empowering them in real sense. किसी ने खूब ही कहा है, जिम्मेदारी संग नारी भर रही है उड़ान, ना कोई शिकायत, ना कोई थकान. With these words, I would like to invite Reena ma'am for our today's session. Reena ma'am is a senior chartered accountant and she is an esteemed practicing chartered accountant from Lucknow. She is practicing in GST, and before the enforcement of the GST law, she was engaged in UP VET. Now, without taking much of your time, I would hand over the mic to the respected Reena ma'am for her deliberation.
Thank you, Rekha. And it's indeed my privilege to be part of this series and a very good initiative taken by the CIRC chairman, though he is not present, and Atulji. So let's start with my presentation and I'll share my screen. See, my objective to go into the recent amendments in GST is that there were certain amendments which have been introduced in the budget 2021. Though the effective date yet to be announced, but they are very important amendments in the sense of, I feel them to be pretty draconian sections. The way they have been put in the section or the act, and might be the government or the department is of the view that with so many frauds, so many recoveries and audits and being done, So they are making amendments so that they can got hold of those people. So first, I'll discuss with you the amendments which have been introduced in the budget 21. Then whatever the budgets or the amendments which were effective from 1st of January 2021. Before that, I'll not be going in certain procedural amendments which have been introduced recently in the procedure or in the portal that I'll be discussing later on. Let me share my screen visible. Please confirm if my screen is visible.
Yes, it is visible, ma'am.
So starting with, just let's have a look at that what we have been through. How many amendments we have seen in last 4 years? It's been almost 4 years, and we have seen a number of amendments, though all the notifications which have been issued are not related with the amendments, but the number of notifications which every day we have to go through, or we have to read them, the number total which has been issued by the central tax EST AR 648 and state और यूटी के तो हम लोग पढ़ते ही नहीं है क्योंकि वहाँ आधे इशू होते हैं और आधे नहीं होते. And same is with the circulars. This is a chart which I have prepared. कलरफुल चार्ट है, काफी सारे हैं. 2020 में तो हम चले गए 300-400 के ऊपर भी. So this is how our journey has been, and in fact GST is keeping us every day active. कोई हफ्ता नहीं जाता होगा जब कोई ऐसा अमेंडमेंट आए जो आपको देखना पड़ता है और आपको सोचना पड़ता है कि अरे फिर इसके अंदर कुछ नए सिरे से दिमाग लगाना पड़ेगा. Same is with the circulars, then GST Amendment Act was there. So this is how our journey since 1st July 2017 has been. Now I'll be discussing the amendments which have been proposed in the budget 2021. Very important amendment which has been brought, and this is a retrospective amendment made in definition of supply. And this is to just counter the effect of the Supreme Court judgment in the case of Calcutta Club Limited. Now, what they have done is even if there is any court, tribunal or authority or person or there any order, then also the activities or transaction by a person other than an individual to its members will be treated as a supply. So now they are putting down all the litigation which are being every day we were facing, that the members, the facilities which are given by the club to its members, since there is no two persons involved, so it is not a supply, so everything will go. And the first thing is that this amendment is retrospective of that. So how the people who are under litigation जो सुप्रीम कोर्ट तक भी अगर पहुंच चुके होंगे तो उनके सारे cases will be all gone waste. Another amendment which has been proposed. Now this effective date is yet to be notified. Now what is this? Every day since 1st July 2017, and when we started annual return filing for 2017-18, the major challenge before all of us was to reconcile कितना ITC दिख रहा है 2A में, कितना नहीं दिख रहा है, और 2A एक ऐसा डॉक्यूमेंट था जो स्टैटिक नहीं था. Every day it was changing. आज भी 18 का बर्थडे तो उसके अंदर वो 2A में रिफ्लेक्ट होने लगता है, though now 17-18 is now not being allowed by the portal. Otherwise portal हमारा जो था वो चाहे लॉ अलाउ नहीं करती थी सितंबर के बाद कोई अमेंडमेंट, but portal was allowing, so people were doing it. And once it was done, so it was like रोज 2A डाउनलोड करो तो एक नई फिगर आती थी 2A की. So the government introduced 2B. But when the 2B was introduced, it was introduced in July 2020. Before that, we have to only, और जुलाई 20 में जब हमारा आया है तो मिड ऑफ द ईयर आया है, तो लास्ट ईयर ऑल्सो वी आर स्ट्रगलिंग कि हम 2A से मिलाएं या 2B से मिलाएं. बट सी 2B हैज गॉट नो नथिंग. 2A इज द document or the 2A is a form which is mentioned in our act. So we have to ultimately rely upon the 2A. Now, what is the amendment which is proposed is, since we all have been fighting with this कि हमारा section 16(2) की compliance जो 4 हमारे criteria दिए गए हैं वो अगर पूरे हो रहे हैं तो हमें ITC मिलना चाहिए. To counter that, government proposed rule 36(4) also कि आपको पहले they started with 120%, then 110%, then now from 1st January it is 105% only. But that rule 36(4) is being challenged in different courts and the judgments are going against the government. So what the department has done is they have introduced a new amendment or new section 16(2)AA, and it reads that the details of the invoices or debit note referred to in clause A has been furnished by the supplier in the statement of outward supplies. Means GSTR 1 में जितने भी आपके अब 2A 2B के अंदर दिखेंगे अब आपको, so once this section 16(2)AA becomes effective, so everything like कि हमें गुड्स मिल गई थी, मैंने उसको पेमेंट भी कर दिया है, मेरे पास उसका इनवॉइस भी है, the supplier has paid the tax, I can't help it, I have filed my return, he has filed his not return or not, I cannot verify it, they all will be put to rest. Another thing is, which might be my younger fellow members find it that the GST audit is gone. But what I feel is GST audit was putting so much of onerous on us to verify the things which was really, really impossible. So in a way, section 35(5) being omitted might be to some extent we might lose some opportunity. But what I feel is the way the system is designed, the way GST is designed, still I feel that the client has to come to us for filing of annual return. And the best part will be we will not be responsible for that annual return. It will be filed by the client. So client will be accountable for that. And by not filing or not certifying the thing to the 90, we will not be accountable. Another thing is with this amendment of section 35(5), in the 43rd council meeting, it has been clarified that it is not applicable for assessment for the financial year which is ended on 31st March 2021. So the government intends to bring it with the retrospective effect. I can't say, because unless and until it is notified and the date is notified from when it will be applicable, till 2020 we all have done GST audit, we have filed the annual returns, but for 2021 the clarification will come or the date of effectiveness will come and it will make us clear कि हमें 2021 का audit करना है नहीं करना है या annual return ही खाली फाइल होगा. With this 35(5), the amendment in section.
One simple request to you. I got the call from few members. They are not able to listen you. So
Okay.
yeah, it's fine. It's fine now. It's
I
fine.
think so. Okay, now I'll keep it like this. Should I repeat? If the members want, I can repeat.
No, you may continue. You may continue.
Okay. So just to give effect to the this amendment in section 35(5), in which the GST audit has been taken away, the section 44 has been amended, and that section 44 says that now the person who is filing an annual return will be filing a reconciliation statement. And see, the best part of it is that reconciliation statement will be only with regard to supplies declared in the return furnished for the financial year with the audited annual financial statement for every financial year electronically. So like whatever we were doing in 9C, we were reconciling ITC, whatever has been done previous year की कितनी आई, आगे साल में कितनी ले गए, कितनी किताबों से मिल रही है, कितनी ITC books में है. So everything we were reconciling or filing a reconciliation statement. Now it has been simplified. So I think so the annual return will be changed. A new return will come. When it will come, I don't know. I can't say about that. Oh, a very welcome amendment and retrospective amendment, which was awaited from a very long time, was proposed in the budget 2021 that interest liability payable shall be on the net amount, and that will be only on the any amount which is paid through the cash ledger, and any amount set off by the credit ledger, no interest liability will be there. But the provision which has been amended, if you see the wordings of this provision, I just like to highlight certain things. It says interest on tax payable in respect of supplies made during a tax period. So it is only related with the supplies. So if there is any tax liability on account of any other thing, like if you have taken some ITC in excess and now if you are reversing, I have doubt whether this provision will cover it. Declared in the return. So mind it, हम लोग बहुत सारे लोग जो है बहुत सारी liabilities DRC के through भरवाते हैं. So if you are doing it through DRC, I don't think so that this provision will cover that DRC 03 की liability, because the wording says supplies made during a tax period and declared in the return. And another caution to be taken is that the proceedings under section 73 and 74 has not been commenced. If you are filing a return after the proceedings under section 73, 74 has been commenced, then this provision will not come to your rescue and you have to deposit the interest on the full amount. This is what I feel. This is my way of thinking about this provision, which the way this has been worded. Now, again, section 74 has been proposed to be amended. All this effective date yet to be notified. And what does this section says? This is, they have delinked the proceedings of section 129 and 130. Section 129 and 130 proceedings. See, section 73 and 74 के अंदर हमें एक immunity मिली है कि अगर हम नोटिस इश्यू होने के पहले अगर टैक्स इंटरेस्ट के साथ में हमने जमा कर दिया है तो पेनल्टी प्रोसीडिंग्स इनिशिएट नहीं की जाएंगी. और अगर हमने हमारा ऑर्डर के 30 दिन के अंदर हमने टैक्स विद इंटरेस्ट जमा कर दिया है, सो ऑल प्रोसीडिंग्स शैल बी डीम्ड टू बी कंक्लूडेड. सो द ऑल प्रोसीडिंग्स डीम्ड टू बी कंक्लूडेड के अंदर हमारे जो है एक तो 132 की प्रोसीडिंग्स जो है वो नहीं आएंगी. दैट इज द क्लॉज 1. एंड अनदर वन इज कि 122, 125 की जो प्रोसीडिंग्स है ओनली दोज विल बी नाउ कवर्ड, एंड सेक्शन 129 एंड 130 की प्रोसीडिंग्स जो है वो इसमें कवर नहीं होंगी. सो मींस इफ दे आर बीइंग टेकन then they will continue. Only 122 is for penalty and 125 is a general penalty. Only those proceedings will be treated as that they have been concluded. This notification has been this amendment has been made in section 74. Now section 75(12). Section 75 is regarding the recoveries. Now what does this is a draconian amendment. This says that even without issue of show cause notice, notwithstanding anything contained in section 73 or 74. Now what they have proposed is, जो पहले हमारा section 75(12) था वो ये कहता था कि अगर आपने कोई रिटर्न फाइल किया है विदाउट पेमेंट ऑफ टैक्स, तो ऐसा तो हमारे पोर्टल अलाउ ही नहीं करता कि हमें कोई टैक्स के बगैर पेमेंट के हम रिटर्न फाइल कर सकते हैं. So this section 7512 had no meaning as such. Now they have added an explanation, and what does that explanation mean? Is saying is that self-assessment tax will include that if you have filed a GSTR1 as well as GSTR 3B, and the amount of tax which is shown in 3B is lesser than the GSTR1 amount, then it will be treated as a self-assessed tax. So now this section 7512 becomes effective. So there can be, the people have been doing it, that they have been filing GSTR1, they are not filing GSTR 3B, or they are filing GSTR 3B with a lesser amount. So with the lesser amount of GSTR 3B, the tax liability, since because there is no linking, there was no linking. Presently, they are giving us the report is being generated that this is the liability on the basis of the GSTR1, but that is modified, that can be modified. So we are at liberty if we want to reduce this or if you want to increase it. If some error has been committed in the GSTR1, you can do it, correct it in GSTR 3B filing, because GSTR 3B is filed later on. So this explanation has been added just to cover up those cases where the GSTR1 has been filed, where because by filing of GSTR1, the other person is taking credit because it is now visible in its 2B. So this self-assessment tax will cover this. And the thing is कि इसके अंदर अगर रिकवरी होगी तो शो कॉज नोटिस के बगैर भी आपकी रिकवरी प्रोसीडिंग्स इनिशिएट की जा सकती हैं. How for these things, these type of amendment will stand in the court of law, I have doubt about it, but it is what has been proposed as on this date. Now, section 83(1). 83(1) is provisional assessment attachment. Now, again in 83(1), what they have made amendment is even after the initiation of the proceedings. Previously, the wordings were during the pendency of the proceedings. So there is a lot of difference between the words during the pendency of the proceedings and initiation of proceedings. Initiation means once an order, once a commencement of proceedings, like 67 की आपके यहाँ पे search and seizure की proceeding शुरू की गई है, then also provisional attachment can be made. Previously, it was when there were proceedings were initiated. So initiation of proceedings and during the pendency of proceedings will have a major impact on section 83(1) once it is made effective. So you'll see the thrust of the government is now to catch hold of the people as soon as they just get to know about it. But there are chances that there are so many things which have been either since there is no our returns don't allow us to modify anything. So there can be chances where we can explain it to the department that these were the corrections which were required, we made it, or we made it in the annual return, or we were waiting for the annual return to come and we would have done it. But when it is like the wordings are initiation, so the assessing authority or the proper officer can go for provisional attachment under section 83(1). Next, section 129. Now, section 129 talks about the search and procedures regarding our goods का जो movement के during the movements अगर आपके हो रहा है. So previously the penalties were previously to get your goods released, you have to deposit the tax and the 100% was the penalty. Now the tax amount has been taken away and the penalty has been increased to 200%. However, the opportunity will be given, and in the case of where the person is coming forward to whom the goods belong, the penalty will be 200% of the tax payable, and the tax will be paid while you are filing your 3B. Previously, we were filing the 3B, tax were paid, and tax and penalty were paid for the release of goods. So these section 129(1)(a) and section 129(1)(b) has been amended to take away the tax amount, and the penalty has been increased to double the amount of the penalty has been done. Previously it was 100%, now it has been done to 200%. And in the case where the person is not coming forward, it was 25% of the value of goods. Now it has been increased to 50% of the value of the goods. Now, for the release of securities, section 67(6) was applicable, and section 67(6) provided us that either we can submit a bond or we can get our goods released by submitting a security. Now this section 67(6) have been taken away. Now only the goods can be released on submission of security, and you cannot get your goods released by submission of bond. Section 29(2) has been deleted and section 129(3) has been added to say that where in the case of a seizure specifying the penalty payable, then you can get them released by furnishing a security. And the period has also been prescribed under section 129 that within 7 days notice has to be issued specifying the penalty and the seizure amount, whatever the tax amount and the penalty amount which is to be payable, and within 7 days the order has to be passed. Another amendment in section 129(6) is that in case the security is not furnished, or the person to whom the goods belong, or the person, nobody comes and get the goods released, then in case it will be liable to be sold or disposed of. Shall. So now the government will not wait for a long time, and anything which is not being released within a specified time, 15 days time has been specified. And if you don't take care of your notices which are being issued under section 129, then after 15 days, the government is at liberty to sold or dispose of those goods. And in the case of perishable, of course, this was allowed previously also. Now confiscation proceedings, section 130 section. Now this section, previously it was notwithstanding anything contained. Now those words have been taken away, and where any person, so abstentive clause has been taken away. Previously, second provision to section 132 was not specifying the penalty. The amount of penalty leviable under subsection 1 of section 129 was the amount which was fixed. Now penalty equal to 100% of the tax payable on such goods have been specified. Now the penalty under section 129(1) is 200%. Now it has been reduced. In this case of confiscation, it will be 100%. And 133(3) has been deleted. Since the penalty has been now been specified, so 133(3) has been deleted. Now schedule 2. Since the supply definition has been amended, section 7AA has been added, which will be covering the supply of goods by any person other than an individual to its members will be treated as a supply. To rationalize with the change in the section 7, this schedule to the entry number 7 has been deleted because it was talking about that any supply between the members will be treated as a goods. So this has been deleted. So this is just only a rationalization. So this was about the amendments which are proposed in the budget 2021. Major of them has not been notified. Only section 51 has been notified. Section 7 has been retrospective. Both of them are retrospective amendments, and rest all are yet to be notified. As actually notification जब तक नहीं हो सकता तब तक की सारे states उसको concur ना करें. Now coming to the IGST Act. IGST में एक problem आ रही थी when people were making supplies to SEZ. So the refund के टाइम पे जो section 54 था वो ये कहता था कि refund तभी मिलेगा जब आपने जो ऑथराइज ऑपरेशंस हैं उसके लिए अगर सप्लाई की है SEZ को तभी आपको रिफंड मिलेगा, whereas there was no such clause in the definition of zero rated supplies. So now to make it rationalize with section 54, the section 16 has been amended and section 16(1)(b) में अब आपको खाली SEZ की सप्लाई जो ऑथराइज ऑपरेशन के लिए है that will only be treated as a zero rated supply and rest will be treated as a interstate supply only. Another amendment is that export without payment of tax, export with payment of tax will now only be allowed to notified persons and only for notified goods and services as so section 16(3) and section 16(4) has been inserted and section 63 has been amended to make means now IGST के अंदर आप जो पहले पेमेंट ऑफ टैक्स करके सप्लाई कर रहे थे वो अलाउड नहीं करेंगे, खाली आपको सेक्शन 16(3) में उन्होंने दे हैव टेकन अवे दिस provision of now only by LUT bond you can supply the goods and that will be treated as a zero rated supplies. Now will come the amendments which were made applicable and they are as on this date they stand, they were made applicable from 1st January 2021. In the case of composition scheme, they have added 3 more conditions that who cannot opt for composition schemes. First is actually the goods were covered. Section 10(2)(b) के अंदर the goods were covered, 10(2)(c) के अंदर the goods were covered, 10(2)(d) के अंदर goods were covered previously, where the person who was making goods supply, now the word services has also been added. Means अगर आप कोई interstate supply कर रहे हैं, outward to supply कर रहे हैं, interstate outward supply कर रहे हैं, या आप कोई services की supply कर रहे हैं जो exempt है, या आप services through e-commerce operator कर रहे हैं, then also you cannot opt for a composition scheme. So now the goods and services means अगर आपने exempt goods में आप deal कर रहे हैं, goods के साथ साथ अगर exempt services में भी आप deal कर रहे हैं, then also you cannot opt for composition scheme. अगर आप interstate supplies कर रहे हैं, this is subject to जो section 10 के अंदर जो प्रोविजो ऐड किया गया था कि आप 10% तक की सप्लाई ऑफ सर्विसेज कर सकते हैं, उतने तक आप कर सकते हैं, लेकिन अगर इंटरस्टेट सप्लाई ऑफ गुड्स और सर्विसेज कर रहे हैं आप, then you cannot opt for composition scheme. Another welcome step which was done on 1st January 2021 was in section 16(4), debit notes were delinked from invoices. प्रॉब्लम होती थी कि डेबिट नोट आज इशू किया गया है, वो डेबिट नोट पर्टेन करता था पुराने इनवॉइस से. हमारी जो इनवॉइसेस 16(4) के अंदर है, 16(4) हमारे को एक लिमिटेशन दे रहा है कि किसी भी इनवॉइस के ऊपर आप आईटीसी कब तक ले सकते हैं. यू कैन टेक क्रेडिट टिल फाइलिंग ऑफ सितंबर और एनुअल रिटर्न विच एवर इज अर्लियर. सितंबर ऑफ द नेक्स्ट मंथ 17-18 में ऑफ कोर्स 31 मार्च 2019 तक चला था, बट उसके बाद गवर्नमेंट के डिस्पाइट ऑफ बीइंग सो मेनी रिप्रेजेंटेशन बीइंग मेड कि आप थोड़ा टाइम बढ़ाइए, बट उसके बाद में कोई टाइम नहीं बढ़ाया गया है और हमारा जो डेट है आईटीसी लेने का किसी भी इनवॉइस का वो एक्सपायर हो जाता है वंस वी फाइल आवर सितंबर रिटर्न और एनुअल रिटर्न इफ वी हैव फाइल्ड द एनुअल रिटर्न, जो कि अभी तक तो इम्पॉसिबिलिटी रही है क्योंकि एनुअल रिटर्न का फॉर्मेट ही नहीं आता है 30 सितंबर तक. तो बट एनीवे दिस इज व्हाट हैज बीन रिटन इन द एक्ट. उसी के साथ साथ डेबिट नोट में भी था कि डेबिट नोट की जो इनवॉइस है उसकी डेट, सो नाउ दैट delinking has been done. Now only the date of debit note will be considered for the purposes of taking of credit. Another thing was that if you have taken a voluntary registration under GST, then you are not allowed to opt out before 1 year. Section 29(1)(c) के अंदर restriction थी कि आपने 22 के अंदर अगर लिया है रजिस्ट्रेशन, आपने रजिस्ट्रेशन तो आप ऑप्ट आउट कर सकते हैं, लेकिन 25(3) के अंदर अगर आपने वॉलंटरी रजिस्ट्रेशन लिया है तो आप ऑप्ट आउट नहीं कर सकते हैं. नाउ दिस restriction of section 25(3) by making an amendment in section 29(1)(c) has been taken away, and now if you have opted for voluntary registration under section 25, then also you can opt out for and you can go for cancellation of registration. I'm not going too fast, I suppose. It's fine. Okay. Now coming to revocation of registration cancellation. See, your assessing authority has a time, the prescribed time is 30 days. और इधर जो है cancellation बहुत हुए थे, प्रॉब्लम आई थी, 30 days का टाइम जो था उसमें नहीं कर पा रहे थे. So an amendment was done, a proviso was added in section 31, and by that proviso the additional or the joint commissioner was given further powers to extend 30 days time, and further 30 days time was given to the commissioner. So in total the 90 days can be availed if you want to file a revocation against registration which has been cancelled. Now section 31(2) has been amended. Now section 31(2) talks about that what are the what kind of section 31 talks about कि कौन सी इनवॉइसेस की जरूरत नहीं होगी और किस मैनर में इशू की जा सकती हैं. Now further it has been amended to specify मैनर. सर्विसेज के केस में फर्दर ये दिया गया है कि अगर वो स्पेसिफाई किया जाएगा कि कौन सी सर्विसेज के केस में किस मैनर में टैक्स इनवॉइसेस इशू की जाएंगी. Now section 51 has been amended that there is no requirement to issue TDS certificates for the TDS which is deducted under section 51. And similarly, the penalty which is to be imposed for non-issue of TDS certificate has also been taken away. Now, we all know the department is fighting very badly with the menace of tax invoices, fake tax invoices, ITC mismatch, ITC being taken on the fake invoices, ITC, and the people have flew like this. Just to have a more curve on that, the government has now added one section 1A in section 122. That is the section of penalty. In that, they have widened the scope. Till date, by when we see the section 122, we see that this is regarding the person who has committed. The penalty is imposable on the person who has committed that he has issued a fake invoice, he has taken excess ITC, he has realized the tax but not paid to the government. So all those section 122(1) talks only about the person who has committed that fault or that committed that action. Now, by introducing this section 1A with effect from 1st January 2021, this scope has been widened to any person who retains the benefit of a transaction covered under clause 1, 2, 7 or clause 9 of subsection 1 and whose instance such transaction is conducted shall be liable to a penalty of an amount equivalent to the tax evaded or input tax credit availed of or passed on. So now who are covered? Who retains the benefit? जिस किसी को भी इसका बेनिफिट मिला है, अगर कहीं से भी ये लिंक हो जाता है कि ये बेनिफिट अल्टीमेटली, बिकॉज व्हाट इज हैपनिंग इज बेनामी ट्रांजैक्शंस बहुत हो रहे हैं, उसको कवर करने के लिए this amendment has been proposed. और at whose instance, अगर किसी के कहने पे भी ये किया गया है, I mean, I should not mention, but there have been lot of instances where our fellow brothers, sisters have been arrested for fake invoices or for like they have been managing a lot of fake companies where the invoices are being issued. So previously till 1st of January, because unless and until they are the beneficiary or they are the person who have been doing these kind of things, they cannot be caught under section 122(1). After this amendment, 1st January 2021, the situation has changed and now they will be covered in this section 122(1)(a). Now, similarly, offences and prosecution of section 132. 132 के अंदर prosecution launch होता है अगर 5 करोड़ से ऊपर का है और अगर आपने कोई जो भी उसके अंदर ABCD clauses हैं, अगर आपने कोई act किया है, then you can be prosecuted. Again, the scope has been widened to cover the persons who are benefit arising out of any of the following offences, or avails input tax credit using the invoice or bill referred to in clause B, or fraudulently avails input tax credit without any invoice or bill. तो अगर invoice या bill के बगैर, now see the wordings without any invoice or bill. अगर आपके पास में all of us are taking credit of bank charges, how many of us receive now the banks have started sending a monthly, because the banks are required by section 31, they have been given the liberty that they can issue one invoice for 1 month. They are not supposed to issue invoices for each and every transaction, like 10 रुपए का बैंक चार्जेस लगा या 15 रुपए का बैंक चार्जेस लगा, तो हर इनवॉइस के लिए, हर ट्रांजैक्शन के लिए बैंक्स को जरूरी नहीं था कि वो टैक्स इनवॉइस इशू करें. They can issue a monthly invoice. Now the banks have started sending the invoices, but previously, since last year, we were not receiving any invoices from the bank, but we were taking credit of it. Now this section is not putting any kind of कि 10,000 के ऊपर हो या 5,000 के ऊपर हो या 1 लाख के ऊपर की इनवॉइस हो. यहाँ पे वो कह रहा है avails input tax credit without any invoice or bill. बहुत सारे क्रेडिट हम लोग अपने क्लाइंट्स को वो दिला देते हैं जो 2A में दिख रहा होता है और वो कहता है जी मैडम मेरे पास तो बिल आया ही नहीं है अभी तक. So please take care of it. This section 132(1)(c) is very damaging. आपके पास कोई इनवॉइस या बिल नहीं है और यहाँ पे कोई भी इसके अंदर क्वांटम स्पेसिफाई नहीं किया गया है, so it can be very damaging. Now, I am coming to some procedural amendments which have been made, that restrictions have been put, amendment in rules 59(6), that if you are a monthly filer of return and if you have not filed two consecutive two preceding tax period के GSTR 3B आपने फाइल नहीं किए हैं तो आपको GSTR 1 फाइल करने नहीं दिया जाएगा. अभी तक क्या हो रहा था, ऐसी कोई कंडीशन नहीं थी, GSTR 3B फाइल ही नहीं होते थे, GSTR 1 फाइल हो रहे थे, उसके ऊपर इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट धड़ल्ले से लिया जा रहा था. Now this restriction has been put on that आपका ऑटोमेटिकली GSTR 1 ब्लॉक कर देगा पोर्टल. सिमिलरली क्वार्टरली फाइलर्स जो हैं उनके लिए अगर उन्होंने प्रीसीडिंग टैक्स पीरियड का मतलब एक क्वार्टर का भी अगर 3B फाइल नहीं किया है तो वो GSTR 1 फाइल नहीं कर पाएंगे. एज आई सेड 36(4) के अंदर जो रिस्ट्रिक्शन है वो हमारी 105% हो गई है 1 जनवरी से. And as soon as section 16(2)(a) will become effective, I think this 36(4) will be redundant, ineffective, because then you cannot take 105% also. Another rule, section rule 86(a). The powers have been given to the commissioner or any officer appointed by him that if they feel it so, then they can put a restriction that no debit can be made from the electronic cash ledger, sorry, credit ledger. आपकी ITC जो है वो ब्लॉक करने की पावर कमिश्नर को दे दी गई है. अगर किसी दिन कमिश्नर, if they feel it so that you are misutilizing or something, if you are falling into that category, now the commissioner has power that they can block this ITC. And this will be effective. I mean, आप 49 की जो टैक्स लायबिलिटी है वो आपके क्रेडिट लेजर से नहीं मिटिगेट कर पाएंगे, और ये ब्लॉकिंग जो है वो मैक्सिमम 1 साल के लिए हो सकती है. 1 साल के बाद ये ब्लॉकिंग हैज टू बी, लेकिन प्रैक्टिकली ऐसा हो रहा है कि 1 साल हो जा रहे हैं और उसका जो ब्लॉक किया जाता है वो नहीं हटाया जा रहा है. रिसेंटली ये जजमेंट, वन पर्सन हैज टू गो टू द कोर्ट, 1 साल हो गया है लेकिन मेरा नहीं हटाया गया है. सो द कोर्ट हैज ऑर्डर्ड कि नो, इट कैनॉट गो बियॉन्ड 1 ईयर. बट एक बार अगर कर दिया है और आपका वर्किंग कैपिटल आपकी जो है वो सारी हिल जाएगी. Rule 86(b). How many of us are following it or doing it? I don't know. And किसके ऊपर लगता है और ये क्यों लाया गया है? I mean, गवर्नमेंट कोई भी चीज को इतना घुमा घुमा करके क्यों लाना चाहती है कि जिसके लिए मुझे उल्टे भी होकर देखना पड़े, सीधे भी होकर के देखना भी पड़े, लेफ्ट टू राइट. इस तरह से मैं एक रिटर्न फाइल करने से पहले पूरा उसका ऑडिट कर डालूं. इज इट पॉसिबल? व्हाट डज दिस रूल 86(b) सेज? 86(b) सेज कि अगर आपकी 50 लाख से ज्यादा की सप्लाईज हैं एक महीने में, तो आप 99% से ज्यादा की आउटपुट टैक्स लायबिलिटी थ्रू क्रेडिट लेजर पे नहीं कर सकते. Where is seamless ITC credit? Where is that principle of seamless ITC credit? I don't know. I mean, this is not what is expected, but you can't help it. The law has been made, and उसके बाद अब हमें करना क्या है? उसके बाद एक्सेप्शंस दिए गए, और एक्सेप्शंस के बाद में मुझे ये लगता है कि ये किसके ऊपर लगेगा? The exception says कि प्रोप्राइटर है, करता है, मैनेजिंग डायरेक्टर है, पार्टनर है, मैनेजिंग कमेटी है, बोर्ड ऑफ ट्रस्टी है. अगर उसने पिछले 2 साल में जो रिटर्न फाइल किया है अपना इनकम टैक्स का, अब आपका कोई क्लाइंट जो आपके पास सिर्फ जीएसटी कराता है, इनकम टैक्स आपसे नहीं कराता है, और आप उससे ये कहें कि भाई अपने डायरेक्टर का इनकम टैक्स का रिटर्न लेकर के आओ क्योंकि इस महीने की आपकी टर्नओवर 50 लाख से ज्यादा की है और मुझे रूल 86(b) के लिए आपकी 99% तक की क्रेडिट लेजर देखना है, तो आप इससे बाहर होते हो या नहीं होते हो, इसको देखने के लिए मुझे आपके डायरेक्टर का इनकम टैक्स का रिटर्न चाहिए, ये देखने के लिए कि उसने 1 लाख से ज्यादा का टैक्स पे किया है या नहीं किया है. वेरी फनी सिचुएशन. And I don't know whether the person will give me this or not. और आगे देखेंगे कि अगर हमने 86(b) की कंप्लायंस नहीं की है, रूल 86(b) की, then penalty is also there. Second exception है, the registered person has received a refund amount of more than 1 lakh rupees in the preceding financial year on account of unutilized input tax credit. अब उसने पिछले साल में उसको रिफंड मिला हो, ये देखिए. Then the registered person has received a refund amount of more than 1 lakh rupees in the preceding financial year on account of unutilized input tax credit. clause 2 of first provision of section 3 of section 54. So section 54 के सारे नहीं है, सिर्फ कुछ clauses का है जिसका अगर उसको refund 1 लाख से ज्यादा मिला है तो भी उसके ऊपर ये रूल 86 भी नहीं लगेगा। और अब आप उसके प्रीवियस रिटर्न्स देखिए, अगर उसने जो लायबिलिटी है, उसकी जो आउटपुट टैक्स लायबिलिटी जो है इन एक्सेस ऑफ 1% ऑफ द टोटल आउटपुट टैक्स लायबिलिटी अप्लाइड क्यूमुलेटिवली अप टू द सेड मंथ इन द करंट फाइनेंशियल ईयर, अगर उसने डिस्चार्ज की है, देन ऑल्सो दिस विल नॉट अप्लाई। तो ऐसा रूल क्यों बनाया जो किसी पे लगेगा ही नहीं, या लगाने के लिए जो है आपको पूरी उसकी ऑडिट करनी पड़ेगी। I mean, to my mind, it is really a very, very kind of amendment जिसे कहते हैं ना कि बाबूगिरी के amendment जो होते हैं वो ये हैं। Then the registered person is government department, public sector undertaking, a local authority or a statutory body. And साथ ही साथ कमिश्नर को भी पावर दी गई है कि अगर वो चाहे तो वो किसी को भी इससे बाहर कर सकता है। Now coming to certain amendments with regard to registration. Previously, we had in the rule 9(1) that within 3 days, the registration has to be granted, otherwise it will be deemed granted. Now that period has been extended to 7 days. Another amendment is in rule 9(2), and the rule 9(2) talks about the period in which you have to issue the deficiency memo if there is some deficiency in the registration application which you have filed. So that also the period has been extended to 7 days. Government का सिस्टम चलता नहीं है, आता नहीं है, फिर आप कहते हो डीम्ड है। डीम्ड क्या, एक एक महीने तक रजिस्ट्रेशन नहीं मिलते हैं। आप यू आर रनिंग फ्रॉम पिलर टू पोस्ट, आप असेसिंग अथॉरिटी को ढूंढते हो क्या है, फिर उसको जाके अप्रोच करते हो। So this 3 days to 7 days, extending it to 7 days and saying that even if you don't do it in 7 days, it will be treated as a deemed से होगा क्या सर, मुझे तो नंबर नहीं मिलता ना, मैं क्या करूं उस डीम्ड रजिस्ट्रेशन का। मैं अपने आप तो 09 पैन लगा के उसके आगे के 3 जो लेटर्स है वो नहीं बढ़ा सकती ना। So but the amendment is there. Now the government is proposing, that is also the date is not yet notified, that biometric Aadhaar authentication will be done. अभी तो सिर्फ आप जब रजिस्ट्रेशन करते हैं तो आप उसको आधार से वेरीफाई करा रहे हैं। This amendment has been done. Proposed amendment है कि बायोमेट्रिक भी होगा। तो जो ये था कि हमारा everything will be online, you are not supposed to go to the department, everything you will get at your office, there will be no interaction, everything is gone. अब आपका biometric Aadhaar authentication will be done. Though it is in the process of being notified, it is still not being notified. पर अभी जो हमारा रजिस्ट्रेशन का प्रोसीजर है उसके अंदर अगर आपने आधार ऑथेंटिकेशन किया है तो आपका रजिस्ट्रेशन 7 दिन के अंदर है। और अगर आपने आधार ऑथेंटिकेशन जो है वो ऑप्ट नहीं किया है, उस केस में फिजिकल वेरिफिकेशन ऑफ योर प्लेस ऑफ बिजनेस विल बी डन and then within 30 days registration will be granted. So here the time limit has been extended to 30 days. Cancellation. New conditions 22 दिसंबर से cancellation के लिए जो हमारा रूल 21 है उसके अंदर कुछ conditions और ऐड कर दी गई हैं। Avails input tax credit in violation of the provisions of section 16 of the act or the rules made thereunder. अगर आपका 2B से ज्यादा आपने ले ली हैं, सेकंड है अगर आपका फर्निशर्स अगर आपने जो ITC ली है सेक्शन 16 के प्रोविजंस के वायलेशन में है तो भी आपका रजिस्ट्रेशन असेसिंग अथॉरिटी प्रॉपर ऑफिसर कैंसिल कर सकता है। furnishes the details of outward supplies in Form GSTR1 under Section 37 for one or more tax period, which is in excess of the outward supplies declared by him in the valid return under Section 39. GSTR1 में जो आपने सप्लाईज दिखाई हैं वो GSTR3B की सप्लाईज से अगर ज्यादा है तो भी आपका रजिस्ट्रेशन कैंसिल हो सकता है, और अगर आपने 86B का वायलेशन किया है तो भी आपका 86B the rule just now I discussed about the 99% restriction on the utilization of the ITC in case your supplies are more than 50 lakhs in a month in a tax period. So these three conditions, so section 16, section GSTR1, GSTR3B mismatch and 86B, अगर ये तीन की non compliance हो रही हैं, then also the proper officer can go for cancellation of your registration. These powers have been given, these conditions have been added to the cancellation. Very interesting amendment. Rule 21A2. The wordings after affording the said person a reasonable opportunity of being heard have been deleted. आपका registration अंडर सेक्शन 29 कैंसिल किया जा रहा है रूल 21 के अंतर्गत, तो आपको कोई अपॉर्चुनिटी भी नहीं दी जाएगी. 21A2A इंसर्ट किया गया है, उसके अंदर अपॉर्चुनिटी मिलेगी, लेकिन वो सिर्फ कुछ चीजों के लिए ही है. तो अगर आपने 89 रूल का किया है वायलेशन या सेक्शन 16 का वायलेशन किया है, तो आपको कोई अपॉर्चुनिटी नहीं दी जाएगी और आपका कैंसिलेशन कर दिया जाएगा. These words have been deleted with effect from 22 December. The new rule जो 21A2A इंसर्ट किया गया है वो खाली बात कर रहा है the details of outward supplies furnished in form GSTR1 where a comparison, यहाँ पे कहाँ पे है, where a comparison of the return furnished by a registered person under section 39 with GSTR1, the details of inward supplies based on the details of outward supply furnished by the suppliers in the form GSTR1. अगर हमारे सप्लायर ने GSTR1 में जो की हैं उसका हमने प्रॉपर नहीं लिया है, उस केस में आपको एक अपॉर्चुनिटी दी जाएगी और then you will be given a time to explain within 30 days why. So only this anomaly you will get an opportunity of being heard. Rest opportunity of being heard in the case of cancellation will go away. Once it is cancelled, you go for the revocation or file an appeal against the revocation. Further, अगर आपका कोई कैंसिलेशन किया गया है तो उस दौरान आपको कोई भी रिफंड अंडर सेक्शन 54 नहीं दिया जाएगा. Now certain journal amendments, e-invoicing was made mandatory with effect from 1st of April. The limit was reduced from 100 crores to 50 crores. HSN has been made mandatory in form GSTR1. HSN, like if you are having turnover up to 5 crore, then up to 2 crore is 4, then 6, and then 8. So these have been made mandatory. E-way bill distance per day has been increased to 200 kilometers. Another amendment, which is a welcome amendment, that if you have filed an application under section 54 for refund, what was happening was if you are given an opportunity to remove any deficiency, that period will be excluded for counting the period of 2 years. Because refund के केस में एक बहुत बड़ी समस्या आ रही है कि आपने एक refund की एप्लीकेशन लगाई और उसको अगर रिजेक्ट कर देता है तो और उसके बाद में आपने उसको जो रिजेक्शन के बेसिस पे आपने उसको रिमूव करके जो भी आपसे जो चीजें मांगी गई आपने दोबारा एप्लीकेशन लगाई, सो इट इज ट्रीटेड एज ए न्यू एप्लीकेशन. इसके representations have been made to the department, but nothing has come till date. So every time you file an application for the same refund, it is treated as, और इस बीच में 2 साल का टाइम निकल जाता है. अगर किसी ने बिल्कुल आखिरी मोमेंट पे फाइल किया है और उसका अगर रिजेक्ट हो गया है, then there is a problem, क्योंकि उसका वो 2 साल का पीरियड डिपार्टमेंट इज ट्रीटिंग a new application as a new application and not an application in continuation of the old application. Now section 140 was amended. This is regarding transitional credit. This amendment was made just to counter certain court decisions which were taken, because under section 140 the time and manner in which the transitional credit was to be taken was not specified. So a retrospective amendment was made in section 140 to allow the prescribed time and manner to avail transition credit. Now, coming to a circular, see, Supreme Court suo motu took cognizance of the pandemic situation and allowed time for filing petitions, appeals, orders, etc. An order was passed in April 2021, 27th of April 2021 by the Supreme Court, that the period of 15th March 2020 till 14th of March 21 will be treated as non-existent, and further 90 days time will be allowed to file whatever the things are mentioned, and it will apply to all the acts, whether be it an income tax act, be it a GST, direct tax, customs, anything. And it was applicable to quasi judicial proceedings also and judicial proceedings also. Now the question was, what was happening was, if any application was filed, the department was treating it as that it is not covered by the order of the Supreme Court because it is not a quasi judicial proceedings or a judicial proceedings, and they were rejecting the applications. So a clarification was sought, and on the 27th of April, this time period of 14th March was further extended by the Supreme Court, because the pandemic, the second wave, hit very bad in our country, and the date has still not been concluded. The Supreme Court has not come up with another order. So the clarification was sought from the department, and the department, by this circular number 157, issued a clarification in which they have bifurcated the clarification which have been sought on the different points under 3 categories. First was proceedings that need to be initiated or compliances that need to be done by the taxpayer. Actually, under section 168A, department came up with certain relaxation in compliance dates, and government department is still firm upon, by even after issuing this clarification, that those extended dates will apply to all the proceedings that need to be initiated or compliances that need to be done by the taxpayer. Another category was quasi judicial proceedings by tax authorities, appeals by taxpayers, tax authorities against any quasi judicial order. The department clarification is that only the C category will be covered by this Supreme Court order, and all other things will not be covered. So if any time limit is prescribed under the act, that will apply and rest. So what they have concluded with this, I'll just read out what they have concluded. In nutshell, the extension of timelines granted by Honorable Supreme Court via its order dated 27 April 2021 is applicable in respect of any appeal which is required to be filed before Joint Additional Commissioner Appeals, Appellate Authority for Advance Rulings, tribunal and various courts against any quasi-judicial order or where proceedings for revision or rectification of any order is required to be undertaken and is not applicable to any other proceedings under GST laws. So only the quasi judicial proceedings and judicial proceedings, only for the purposes of filing of appeals, the date will be treated as extended. Rest all dates will be as it is. Again, this clarification is from the department side. How this will stand good in the courts, we have to see, and let's hope so that any judgment comes in favor of our SSCs, because many of us are fighting, especially in the case of revocation and the cancellation of registrations. These kind of problems have been faced by the registered person. Now, just now, and another opportunity, I would say, or I don't know whether you will be able to encash this opportunity or not. On dashboard, today or I think yesterday, on dashboard, a new facility to verify annual aggregate turnover has been added. Go to your dashboard. आपका जो डैशबोर्ड आता है उसमें क्रेडिट लेजर आता है, उसके नीचे आप देखेंगे तो उसके अंदर आपकी एनुअल एग्रीगेट टर्नओवर दिखा रहा है. आपको वो एनुअल एग्रीगेट टर्नओवर में अगर कोई डिस्क्रिपेंसी दिख रही है, then you can go to the grievance section and file a grievance for that. कि why this, there is an advisory also in that, and that advisory says, and another they have given a method of calculation also, how this aggregate turnover has been calculated. In case if you have all filed all your 3B, see what they are doing is they are taking turnover from 3B. If I would say what we were doing, अगर हमारा कोई पिछले साल का करेक्शन या कोई चीज छूट जाती थी, हम उसके ऊपर टैक्स पे जब करते थे तो क्या करते थे, 3B में दिखाते थे. GSTR 1 में खाली दिखा करके तो आपकी कोई किसी की सप्लाई जो है, किसी की चढ़ानी सप्लाई जो है वो छूट गई थी, आपने उसको GSTR 1 में भी दिखाया और उसको 3B में भी दिखाया, क्योंकि आपको उसके ऊपर टैक्स लायबिलिटी. बट नाउ दिस माय टर्नओवर रिलेट्स टू 2020, which I have filed in the month of September 2020, and it is appearing in my GSTR 3B. Now this my portal is taking 3B figure from GSTR 3B. So how it will be the same as, because GSTR 1 के अंदर तो if you have seen in annual return के अंदर हमारा जो सेक्शन 4 था उसके अंदर टर्नओवर GSTR 1 से उठती थी, 3B से नहीं उठती थी. और GSTR 1 से जब वो टर्नओवर उठाता था तो हमारी जो पिछले साल की जो हमने टर्नओवर अपलोड की होती थी वो वहां से माइनस कर देता था और वो उसको हमारे सेक्शन 9, 10, 11 के अंदर दिखा देता. So if this turnover is coming from GSTR 3B, so any correction which I have made for the previous year, which I have added in GSTR 3B will be added in my turnover. So for all of your clients, now you have to do this, because the government will say हमने तो आपको ये फैसिलिटी दे दी थी और आपको इसको वेरीफाई करना था एग्रीगेट टर्नओवर को, और आपने एनुअल एग्रीगेट टर्नओवर के लिए आपने अगर उसको वेरीफाई नहीं किया है तो हम तो ये मानेंगे कि आपका GSTR 3B की फिगर सही है. सो दे हैव गिवन अ फैसिलिटी दैट यू कैन रेक्टिफाई आल्सो, लेकिन उसके लिए उन्होंने एक टाइम लिमिट दी है, एंड द नंबर ऑफ टाइम्स यू कैन रिवाइज इज ट्वाइस, एंड द लिमिट ऑफ टाइम इज विदिन 30 days of launching of this facility. I just came to know about this facility today. The date of launching of this facility is not available on the portal, so I presume it that ये कल या आज ही आई है, क्योंकि मैंने इसको ट्विटर पे देख करके आज इसको सुबह देखा. The manner in which this gross turnover has been calculated, another thing they have given is that अगर आपने 3B फाइल किए हैं तब तो हमने 3B से लिया है, और अगर आपने 3B फाइल नहीं किए हैं तो हमने एक्स्ट्रापोलेट कर दिया है। अगर आपने 2 महीने का 3B फाइल नहीं किया है तो उसके अंदर एक उन्होंने फॉर्मूला लगाया है कि हमने जितने 3B आपने फाइल किए थे उससे हमने एक्स्ट्रापोलेट किया, नंबर ऑफ मंथ से डिवाइड किया और उन्होंने एक्स्ट्रापोलेट कर दिया है। सो बी रेडी विद दिस कि अब आप खोलिए पोर्टल, सारे क्लाइंट्स को फोन करिए, भाई एग्रीगेट टर्नओवर मिलाओ, जीएसटी चिंता मत करो, 35 चला गया, काम बहुत देगा जीएसटी। डेली यू विल बी बिजी। ये बात अलग है कि कभी कभी अपना सर फोड़ने को मन करता है कि भाई क्या कर रहे हैं, क्लर्क बन गए हैं, ऑडिट, मतलब जो लॉजिक हमारा होता है, जो हमारी ऑडिट एबिलिटी है, वो तो एक किनारे है। हम चलते हैं जो पोर्टल कहता है और उस पोर्टल के कहने को हम ठीक करते रहते हैं। हम अपनी किताबें जो हैं ऑडिट एश्योरेंस को किनारे रख करके हम जीएसटी के हिसाब से चलने लगते हैं, इनकम टैक्स के हिसाब से चलने लगते हैं। सो दिस हैज बिकम अ रियली टफ थिंग। सो with this I conclude my presentation, and now I hand over the session to the moderator, and I'm ready to take the queries which are there.
Thank you, Reena ma'am, for such a wonderful and knowledgeable session you have taken. And I hope that all the queries in the minds of our viewers have already been resolved. And if not, they are requested to direct message in the chat box. Now I am taking question answers.
Ma'am, there is one question which is there from CA Bhavya Tandon.
Yeah.
ITC disallowed on
Yeah.
the ground that description of the goods/services not clearly mentioned in tax invoice by the supplier. How to deal with such situation? Any case law to fight this case?
See, often I cannot give you the case law, और शायद जो हमारी इनवॉइसेस की है उसके अंदर क्या डिस्क्रिप्शन मैंडेटरी है?
इनवॉइस में HSN कोड भी अभी शायद मैंडेटरी अब हुआ है।
HSN कोड नहीं सर, HSN कोड मैंडेटरी तो इनवॉइस में है, GSTR 1 में अभी मैंडेटरी हुआ है
जी।
HSN कोड जो हमारा सेक्शन 31 और रूल जो स्पेसिफाई करता है वो तो स्पेसिफाई करता है वहां पे क्या डिस्क्रिप्शन HSN अगर मेरा लिखा है तो अगर डिस्क्रिप्शन, सी दिस यू हैव टू पहले तो फैक्ट्स को चेक करो, क्योंकि खाली डिस्क्रिप्शन लिखने से मेरी गुड्स जो हैं, क्योंकि मुझे आईटीसी की जो मुझे मिलना है वो मिलना है किस पे, सेक्शन 16 से गवर्न होगा। नहीं, appearing in 2A, see Bhavya, appearing in 2A is one thing which is regarding that it is appearing in 2A. Maybe the invoice does not belong to me and it is appearing in 2A, so can I take the credit of it? No. Section 16(2) specifies the condition. अभी तक हमारा वो draconian section 16(2) नहीं आया है जो ये कह रहा है कि 2A में होगा, 2B में होगा तभी मिलेगा। अभी तो हम गवर्न होते हैं सेक्शन 16(2) से। 16(2) कहता है कि मेरे पास में इनवॉइस होनी चाहिए एज इशूड प्रेस्क्राइब मैनर में, उसके बाद में मेरे को गुड्स मिल जानी चाहिए, द अदर पर्सन हैज फाइल्ड द रिटर्न, द अदर पर्सन हैज, सो the way it is appearing, that means the other person has filed the return, I have also filed my return. Now question is कि मेरे पास जो invoice है that the assessing authority is saying कि this is not a proper invoice. Now go through those जो हमारे जो 14-15 points हैं कि tax invoice में ये चीजें होनी चाहिए, वहां पे I don't think so the description is mandatory. HSN is, and if HSN is correctly mentioned, then you can fight this case.
What I believe, ma'am, let's say if we are using our invoice to our client and we are rendering the services related to the audit and assurance. Unfortunately, we have mentioned the consultancy. Then that makes any difference?
That doesn't mean that the service has not been rendered.
Okay.
The goods have
And-
not been received or the service has not been rendered, it cannot be challenged. This is, I mean, on this basis, ITC is being allowed is not there.
It's not
But
justified.
you have to see, ये indirect tax के जो authorities होती है ना,
Hmm.
उनको समझाना जो होता है ना, और अगर ये वैट अथॉरिटीज हैं या जो भी हैं, तो उनको समझाना जो होता है ना कि सर ये एक्ट है या सेक्शन है, उनका एक बड़ा अच्छा सा जवाब होता है, सर मैं तो यहाँ लगा देता हूँ, अपील में छुड़वा लीजिएगा.
Yes,
क्योंकि
yes.
उनके पास क्या है, ये क्वेरी कहीं और से जनरेट होके आई होती है, तो वो बड़े प्यार से ही कहते हैं आप कुछ भी दे लो, मेरे को जब सुनना ही नहीं है तो आप अपील में छुड़वा लीजिएगा. तो इसके आगे तो फिर कुछ रह नहीं जाता. दिस इज द प्रैक्टिकल थिंग आई एम टेलिंग यू. बट what I am telling you is you have to present your case. आप तैयारी इस हिसाब से कीजिए कि अगर आपको अपील में भी जाना है तो भी आपको तैयारी तो यहीं पे करनी है कि see, appearing in 2A is one of the condition of section 16(2). If you have to take ITC, then all the 4 conditions which are presently specified in section 16(2) have to be satisfied. You cannot just go by that it is appearing in 2A. Okay, so you have to see all the 4 conditions to be complied with.
What I believe, ma'am, whatever you are saying is absolutely correct. Let me tell you one thing here. As far as the bank charges and the communication charges which you are talking about, Paytm charges are concerned, these charges are being appearing in your bank statement also. So now the question is whether the bank has issued an invoice to you or not. Bank, if there is a GST number which has been updated in your bank account, then normally nowadays banks are issuing invoice also. They are sending these invoice via
Yes,
mail.
nowadays
And
we are receiving the
yes,
invoices, or you can collect it,
you
and
can
they are
collect
appearing
it.
in 2B also.
Yes, and at the same time, this amount shall be appearing in bank statement also. So you can very well argue with the officer because it is not only appearing in 2A, but also you have the evidence related to that this payment has been made by you. Like either you talk about Paytm charges or you talk about bank charges. If you talk about Paytm charges, that shall be available into your history. While you log in into your Paytm account, there is a history and they will show that this much amount they have charged as a Paytm charges. So, and at the same time, as I
You
mentioned,
can get the invoices.
yes, you can ask for the
You can get
invoice
the
also.
invoices from the bank also.
Right, right.
Banks
And
are
nowadays
issuing
banks are sending also the invoices.
on the mail they are sending, on the registered mail they are sending.
Right. One question is from Neha Teotia, ma'am. Ma'am, nowadays service tax liability letters received. How to face this issue? Please advise.
See, very interesting thing is, ये आपको 16-17 का मिला. Can I have that person live? I mean, अगर
Yes,
उनका अगर वो
Neha ji,
अपना
can you come?
speaker on कर ले,
Can you
can you
just
come on the,
let me invite her.
so we can have 1-to-1 chat. I mean, जब तक हो मेरा session का timing.
Neha ji, I have allowed you to talk. Kindly talk. Kindly unmute
Yeah,
yourself.
yeah. Hello. Hello, ma'am.
Yeah, this is for 2016-17.
Yeah, for 16-17, for 17-18, I received lots of letters.
Okay,
Actually,
and
my
this is on the
Mhm.
on the basis of 26 AS.
Yeah, on the basis of income tax returns and 26 years. Actually, one
Okay.
of my client is giving export services, and now he received the letter for for paying service tax with liability amount. Actually,
No, see, the question is, means he was registered in service tax.
yeah,
He was registered. Okay, so see, the question is, he has filed his return. Now
Yeah.
what is happening is 26 AS को जो है डिपार्टमेंट सेक्शन 74 में कवर कर रहा है, जबकि वो सेक्शन 73 ऑफ द सर्विस एक्ट में कवर होते हैं, एंड द पीरियड फॉर इशूअर SCN is only 3 years. So it is all time barred cases. They cannot issue SCN, and 26 AS is not a fraud or any
Yeah.
misstatement. They can take shelter of extended time of 5 years only in the case of where there is any fraud or misstatement, and then only they can go in section 74. So first thing is you reply that time barred है section 73 का आपका.
Okay.
73 के अंदर क्योंकि 26 years तो आपका फ्रॉड थोड़ी है, आपका कोई मिस स्टेटमेंट है, आप 3 साल तो आप सोते रहे. अभी जो क्लैरिफिकेशन जो मैंने सर्कुलर आपको दिया, सर्कुलर नंबर 157, वहां
Okay.
पे भी देखिए टाइम लिमिट आपकी 5 साल भी एक्सपायर हो गई है. हमारे जो
जी.
टैक्स पीरियड था सर्विस टैक्स का वो 6 मंथ्स होता था. उस 6 मंथ से जो है वो जो आपकी ड्यू डेट होती थी उससे 3 साल और 5 साल गिना जाता था. तो ये जो नोटिस इश्यू करने की अथॉरिटी को टाइम है, वो शेल्टर इस सुप्रीम कोर्ट के ऑर्डर का भी नहीं ले सकता है बाय द इश्यू ऑफ क्लैरिफिकेशन दिस सर्कुलर. सो टेक दीज थिंग एंड रिप्लाई अकॉर्डिंगली.
Okay. Even ma'am, I received for financial year 13-14. It's मतलब time barred ही हो चुका है. 13-14
तो कब का टाइम बार्ड हो चुका है, उसमें तो 5 साल भी बीत गए हैं.
नहीं, they said कि third party checking is going on. That's why मतलब matching में अगर if you have any issue
थर्ड
then
पार्टी हो चाहे कुछ हो, थर्ड पार्टी का मतलब जो है फ्रॉड थोड़ी होता है, मिस स्टेटमेंट थोड़ी होता है, विलफुल कहाँ है ये. सेक्शन 74 का शेल्टर तो आपको तभी मिलेगा ना.
जी. Okay ma'am, thank you.
Ma'am, most of the queries are over. One query is from my side, if you allow me, then especially in case of an exporter, manufacturer exporter, what they do, they manufacture the goods and for the purpose of getting custom clearance and all, to raise the invoice. And then the clearance takes place only once they get the dispatch takes place only once they get the clearance from the custom authority. So at times what is happening, the invoice got generated, let's say 3 days before, and this road permit is being issued after 3 days. So there is always a mismatch in the date of invoice and in a road permit. So what is the remedy in such case?
ये जो प्रैक्टिकल प्रॉब्लम्स है ना, डिपार्टमेंट को समझानी कि भाई एक प्रोसीजर होता है, उनके हिसाब से तो मेरे घर के दरवाजे पे गाड़ी खड़ी होनी चाहिए इवेबल बनाने के लिए
जी.
जो गाड़ी का नंबर में इवेबल पे कर ही रहे हम लोग, क्या करें. सो आपकी प्रॉब्लम ये है कि एक्सपोर्ट हम कर रहे हैं और उसके अंदर जो ई-वे बिल आपका है.
Yes, e-way bill is being generated at the time of dispatch only. However, the invoice is being generated on the day once the packing is done.
तो आपका जो पीरियड ऑफ डेज का जो कैलकुलेशन है वो आपको प्रॉब्लम करता है.
वो प्रॉब्लम कर रहा है.
उसमें एक्सटेंड करिए उसको. ई-वे बिल जो है इनवॉइस आपने बना ली है, इनवॉइस की डेट से वो नंबर ऑफ डेज कैलकुलेट करता है.
Yes.
तो उसमें ये तो फिर आपको जो है ना वो अथॉरिटी को जो होती है, ये जो ऑफिसर होता है उसको अथॉरिटी होती है इसकी एक्सटेंशन की.
Okay. No, but what is happening? Let's say if the material is being booked through Nhava Sheva port, and material is being dispatched, let's say from Noida. So from Noida till Nhava Sheva port, lots of barriers are there, lots of checkposts are there. And whenever there is a check post, they always say, okay, this invoice was generated on, let's say, 5th of June, and the material is crossing this border on 10th of June. And your e-way bill is dated 8th of June. Right. So then at times they don't mind detaining the vehicle even for the entire consignment. And at times they don't mind putting it like, okay, deposit the amount and then get it cleared. And then after that, the client is contesting with the department, filing appeal and all, but nothing, no positive result is coming up.
इसका तो लोकल वहाँ पे जो जॉइंट कमिश्नर हैं उनको आप रिप्रेजेंटेशन दीजिए. सर ये जो जॉइंट कमिश्नर हैं, जॉइंट कमिश्नर को जो है रिप्रेजेंटेशन दीजिए और उसके लिए एक इंस्ट्रक्शन इशू करवाइए.
एक और इशू
लेवल पे करवाइए या वजह करें.
एक और इशू है मैम. If I remember correctly, in service tax there was a provision reason, especially for input tax credit, while we talk about, because in service tax also input was available, but in service tax the provision was input credit availed and utilized. And if any wrong input has been utilized, then only there was a. But in GST, the language of the section is input credit availed or utilized. So even if you have not utilized that input credit, then also they are asking for the interest, they are putting the penalties and all. So is there any remedy for that? Because if you remember, while this ITC got started in 2017, lots of wrong entries were taken place at that time. Even the ITC portal of ITC was not available, so people started claiming through 3B, and then while they got the relief from the court or otherwise, then they put it into the ITC column, and then they passed the reverse entry in 3B. And accordingly, there was a double claim in few cases. So now the department is saying, because you have wrongly claimed, so we are charging the interest from the date of claim till the date of reversal, even if client has not utilized that amount.
See, यहाँ पे क्या है अतुल जी, जहाँ यहाँ वहाँ पे सर्विस टैक्स में और जीएसटी के अंदर इन्होंने किया है, लेकिन जो सुप्रीम कोर्ट के डिसीजंस हैं वो हमारे फेवर में, इसमें हमें फाइट तो करना पड़ेगा।
Okay.
और जो ये यूटिलाइज्ड और इसका है, अगर आप आईटीसी का जो सेक्शन हमारा इंटरेस्ट का चार्जिंग सेक्शन है, सेक्शन 51 है, सेक्शन 50 है हमारा, 50 का जो सबसेक्शन 1 है, that says about your output tax liability, the tax due. There the ITC is not covered. So ITC comes in section 53. और सेक्शन 53 जो हमारा है वो रेस्ट्रिक्ट कर रहा है सिर्फ सेक्शन 4210 एंड 4310 के अंदर। और 4210 और 4310 जो है वो हमारे आज तक अफेक्टिव हुए ही नहीं, जीएसटीआर 2 आज तक आया ही नहीं। तो ये जो आईटीसी के ऊपर जो इनका इंटरेस्ट है, जो इनका चार्जिंग सेक्शन है, तो आईटीसी के ऊपर जो इंटरेस्ट का है और हमने यूटिलाइज किया ही नहीं किया, क्योंकि आपने अगर उसको दिस डिपार्टमेंट इज डूइंग इट, बट इन माय व्यू this ITC or the reversal which we have done on our shoe motto, and if it is not being, the reversal is being done through by paying it in cash, because any ITC reversal is treated as an output tax liability. If we are doing it in return, so this way this whole gamut has to go.
Ma'am, I believe most of the questions are over.
Thank you.
Over to
Thank you
Rekha
very
ji.
much.
Over to Rekha
Thank you,
ji
sir.
for concluding the session.
Friends, our second speaker, CA Yogita Anand ma'am, is not able to connect. She is stuck in the landslides in Himachal. Work from home, but don't worry, we have with us CA Atul Agrawal sir, who is a renowned chartered accountant from Noida, and I request him to address our viewers.
So you have transferred the ball in my court.
Oh,
First of all, I would like to express my sincere gratitude and thanks to Madam C. Reena Bhargav ji, who has explained the subject in a very detailed manner and who has all the queries of the viewer. And I also learned a lot from her deliberation, because definitely I don't deal in GST, but still I learned a lot, and I'm sure I would be able to do the justice even with my clients. So I'm really thankful to CA Reena Bhargav ji for her valuable time and her wonderful deliberation on the subject. Friends, as you all know, nowadays the concept has started where we are talking about work from home, and this topic was supposed to be taken by CA Yogita Anand, ex-regional council member from NIRC. Somehow she got stuck up in a landslide in Himachal Pradesh because she was there on vacations, and she's supposed to come back yesterday in the late night, but I hope she is still on the way. Once we talk about work from home, as you know, during this pandemic, we all must have started thinking about how can we set up our office and how can we operate from home. I'm sure you all must have seen one session where CA Anil Agarwal ji from Jaipur was there, who was discussing about, like, he started doing work from home, and he started deputing each and every member of his team who are operating from home. Definitely lots of challenges are there, and especially while we are talking about the women members, the major challenge is how they can get the time and how they can manage everything. My dear friends, I believe first and foremost important thing is everything is on cloud now. And while everything is on cloud, we can start working on cloud. And if everything is on cloud, then either we operate from home, we operate from a cyber cafe, we operate from an office. It does not make any difference because you can log in from anywhere and then you can start working on that. So for that, first of all, we need to think about that we need to have a small cloud system at our office where everything is connected with the cloud server. Entire data of each and every client shall be on the cloud. And then after that, even if we are sitting on a system which is not our system, then also we would be able to log in on the cloud, and then we would be able to perform the duties which we would like to do that. Yes, there are so many challenges while we are talking about the cloud. First question comes regarding the secrecy of data. Second question comes whether we would be able to load each and every data on the cloud. That is again a very big question, especially if you remember the deliberations of Dr. Girish Ahuja ji, who has taken so many deliberations across the globe, and every time he used to say that the department is having 360-degree profile of each one of us and each of the client, or rather you can say each citizen of India. And now the very important thing is, as a chartered accountant, client is coming up with a raw data, and after that we are doing lot many engineering. I must say the engineering, there may be a change of heads, there may be a change of value, maybe because the value which might have been posted by the client may not be the correct value. So we are doing a kind of engineering into that, and while we are doing that engineering, then at times the shape of the balance sheet is altogether different from the balance sheet which the client is coming up. So important is, let's say if your entire data is in a cloud, let's say your client is forwarding a balance sheet via mail, then meaning thereby that balance sheet is in your system, that balance sheet is there on your IP address, and then after that you are making the necessary corrections, and after that you are finalizing the balance sheet. So if you have the reconciliation statements of the balance sheet which was forwarded by the client and the balance sheet which has been finalized by you, then the reconciliations must be there with you. And if you have these reconciliation statements with you, and then after that you are finalizing the balance sheet and you are keeping all data of the client on a cloud, then I don't think there's any problem, there is any hassle into that. Yes, important is security of data. I'm sure nowadays the companies who are involved into the cloud-based server, definitely they always enter into an agreement with you, and the secrecy is the prime responsibility of the company who is giving you a cloud server. So important is, again, we have to identify a cloud server or a supplier of that particular cloud server. We need to understand the genuinity of that particular supplier, and then after that we need to enter into an agreement, and then there should be a agreement which is called non-disclosure agreement. Apart from that, friends, so many times it has been discussed. Nowadays, lots of other opportunities are there which you can start as work from home. We were discussing during the last deliberation where we have discussed the opportunities related to the MSME sector, where we were earlier, during the earlier deliberations, we have already discussed the opportunities into the international taxation. We have discussed the other opportunities related to the portfolio management and all. So what I believe, there are so many opportunities. If we would like to start, we can definitely start work from home. And that work from home opportunity is available not only into the audit and assurance services, because if you like to do an audit of a client, then what exactly you have to do, you have to take the system of a client on a what we call any desk, and then once you take a system on any desk, then again you can access the entire system of a client. Even you can do the data mining also, you can verify the books, you can do the verification of entire tally data. You can open the tally data and you can do the entire audit while you are sitting at home. And I'm sure most of you must have experienced during last 2 years, the bank audits also took place through remote. That exercise was done like, let's say if you got an assignment of Chennai, you are sitting in Delhi, you are visiting a branch of Delhi and you are accessing a data of a Chennai branch because through remote access. So in the same way, again, if you would like to do the access of books of accounts of a client, you can do a ledger scrutiny, you can do a scrutiny of your cash book of the client. While you are sitting at home, you are just taking the system of a client on any desk. And again, it is a very safe mode, because till time client is giving you a password, you won't be able to access the system of a particular client. So that is again a very important area where you can do the audit while you are sitting at home. And yes, then again, another important area, lots of investment is coming to India. Lots of people are there who are willing to start their projects. Then again, they wanted someone who can guide them regarding the licenses. All licenses, all applications for all licenses are available online. Now, physical involvement for any license is very less. Either you talk about license related to, as Reena ji has also mentioned, that getting registration under GST is again available online. Now MSME registration is also online. Udyam MSME registration, or you call it as Udyam registration, which is available on a site called Champion. Then again, even if you talk about the registration under the Shop and Establishment Act, you talk about registration under for PF, ESI. So all kind of registrations are available online. And even if for the trademark also, now earlier there was a system of visiting a trademark office for the purpose of inspection. Now everything is available online, and even for trademark, you can apply online. And the company secretaries, just see, the most of the company secretaries, they are working from home only. Either you talk about filing of any kind of form with MCA or getting registration, that trademark or otherwise. So in that case, while a company secretary can work from home, then why not we? We can also start work from home. The only thing is we should have that kind of connectivity. We should have that kind of caliber. And yes, what is important is internet connectivity is very important. And the configuration of the system which we are using from home, either system or a laptop, if the configuration is good, speed is there, internet connectivity is there, I'm sure my entire fraternity would be able to work from home. The only problem is we need the commitment. The problem as a chartered accountant, what we are facing, or what we are having in our mind, that while we are doing work from home, then the output would be little less. Friends, in the initial stage, that output may be little less, but once we start monitoring everything closely, I'm sure the output will come as you are working from office itself. And so the percentage of output shall be the same, which is their work from home. But again, I can add few things here. There are so many softwares where you would be getting an help of monitoring your entire workflow. There are softwares where you can assign the work to your team down the line, and then while the team is performing that assignment, then you would be able to assess per hour on hourly basis, like how much time they have devoted for a particular assignment. And on that basis, you can understand how much cost was there for performing that particular assignment. And then after that, you can assess your model or your fees with the client. So friends, again, I was just going through with another opportunity. Nowadays, one more option has come up, especially in case of an exporter or an importer. There is another option which is available, which is called a spatial valuation. And that spatial valuation takes place from the customs authority. And there is a different branch in custom authorities that is called a spatial valuation branch. Nowadays, any client who is importing any material from associate enterprise, I'm sure you all must be aware about AE. AE is associate enterprise, which is being normally used while we are doing TP audit, transfer pricing audit, or while we are getting the assessment done under transfer pricing. So there is a concept of spatial valuation, and for that, custom authorities have a separate branch by the name Spatial Valuation Branch. So most of the cases, the importers who are importing the goods from AE, at a concessional rate, then they voluntarily go for a SVB registration. The purpose is so that their consignment shall not be stopped at the custom authorities, because there is a very specific rule in customs also. If there is a difference in valuation of the goods imported by you, and its difference is a major difference, in that case, you can get the goods cleared only once you get the special valuation done from the special valuation branch. So in that case, custom authority may refer your case for the special valuation. And before that, they may ask you for deposit of additional duty at the rate of 5%. And after that, you may get your goods cleared from there. So normally nowadays, what the clients are doing, what the importers are doing, they are filing their application online for a special valuation. And once they get the approval of a special valuation, which is valid for next 3 years. So in that case, this is another area which you can focus upon. Very recently, RBI has issued a guideline to all the banks where the transactions are huge transactions. All the depositors are required to obtain LEI. So LEI is again a registration which you have to obtain. The application for obtaining LEI is again online. Again, you can go for that. That is again, that option is again very good option for work from home, and a very interesting topic, as we all are the chartered accountants and dealing into the advances. Friends, very recently government has issued another initiative, taken another initiative, or RBI has issued a direction wherever the advances or credit facilities are for 5 crore or more, every borrower is required to, rather every bank branch is required to obtain due diligence report. And that due diligence report is again where you have to tell about whereabouts of the client. Let's say if ABC is a client who has availed a credit facility of 5 crore from State Bank of India, State Bank will definitely ask from you, sir, this is the client, I have given a credit facility of 5 crore and now I kindly give us a due diligence report. Yes, it is a responsibility on your shoulder where you have to mention each and every fact regarding the client, whatever you come to know, either through MCA or otherwise. So again, there is a prescribed format by the RBI, and on that prescribed format, you have to give a due diligence report. That due diligence report is again giving you a very handsome amount. A fees, that minimum fees starts from 15,000 rupees per due diligence report, again, depending upon the size of the borrower and the company. Friends, again, now lots of other compliances are available. Now, even if we talk about IEC, there is a updation which is required under IEC also. You can file IEC while you are sitting at home. More interestingly, in case of an exporter, or there is a remittance which is there out, which is going for outside India, in each and every transaction after this amendment of Section 195. Because if I am correct, then you must be aware, like earlier in Section 195, there were only 4 items which were specified. And these 4 items were dividend, interest, foreign technical services, and salary. But now Section 195 has been amended, and Section 195 says any sum. So while you are remitting even a single penny outside India, then you have to furnish Form 15CA and Form 15CB to the bank, and then only that remittance takes place. So friends, now again this Form 15CA CB is available online, and especially after, if once this portal will start, new portal will start, again you need not to take a printout, or you need not to submit it manually. Everything is digitally. So even if you are sitting at home, if your client is saying, ma'am, I would like to remit, let's say $1,000 or $10,000 or $20,000, he's submitting, furnishing all necessary information to you. You have to log in at the income tax portal, and then after that you have to submit your Form 15CB. This form will definitely go to the client side, and then client will accept that form, and this form shall be submitted through digital signature. So this is again a very important issue, and very important opportunity which you can take. Nehaji is asking for submission of form physically. Nehaji, what I can tell you, your question is, I asked one question regarding 15CB, as I have to prepare 15CB and 15CA. I don't understand from where I have to start. I prepared earlier online, but don't know the procedure of offline mode. Neha ji, in any case, Form 15CA is required to be filed online only, and 15CB you can furnish physically till 15th of August because the date has been extended. But yes, what I believe, once this portal is operational, then in that case, you need not to worry. You have to log in on the site. You have to log in on the site, and then after that, you can find a specific icon for 15CA/CB in case of a remittance. And then once you log in there, once you click on Form 15CB, you can furnish all the desired details of the assessee, and these desired details shall be uploaded on the income tax portal itself. And then after that, the message will go to the client, and then client need to log in from his ID. And once he logins from his ID, then he will accept your form. And then after that, Form 15CA shall be filed. So definitely this online mode, filing of Form 15CA/CB through online mode may take maybe another week's time or 10 days time, because the government is still working on the portal, and the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India is also helping the government and this TCA, this Infosys, for the purpose of all difficulties, whatever they are facing in smooth functioning of the portal. So I'm sure these are another opportunities which you all can start. And another interesting opportunity for work from home, that is called outsourcing, accounting outsourcing. What I suggest for accounting outsourcing, if you all can start learning something on QuickBooks, which is available on YouTube. Need not to go for any coaching, need not to go for any tuition kind of thing. All tutorials are available on YouTube. Once you start learning about QuickBooks, QuickBooks is a software which is very easily understandable. It is like a Excel sheet, and if you start learning QuickBooks, I believe you would be having good knowledge of that. And the best part in QuickBooks is your bank statement is directly uploaded on QuickBooks. So you need not to enter the bank statement once again. You need not to wait for a reconciliation of a bank statement. All transactions shall be uploaded directly from the bank on the QuickBooks. And then after that, you have to identify each and every entry, and you have to classify each and every entry, whether it is a balance sheet item or it is an item of a profit and loss account. And that's where, in that way, you would be in a position to simplify your accounting. And if you talk about the companies in UK and US, or CPAs who are sitting in UK, US, Canada, they always outsource the accounting work to the Indian Chartered Accountants. But yes, important is commitment, important is integrity, and important is like whatever work you are doing must do with the honesty. If these three things are there, and another important thing is secrecy of the data of a client, that is more important. So if you start following these things, I'm sure you would be able to get this outsourcing work of accounts also from UK, from US, and your chartered accountant friends who are sitting there, who are CPA there, who are rendering their services to the clients. They are trying to find out their counterparts in India, especially for the accounting work. And for that, again, if you start thinking about to learn about QuickBooks, to understand about QuickBooks, then while you're sitting at home, even if you devote 3 hours in a day, then also you would be able to do the accounting for small clients. And believe me, the charges, even for a small client for which you have to devote hardly 3 hours in a month for accounting of a client, hardly 3 hours in a month, then also you will get minimum $150, minimum $150, meaning thereby कि आपको 2 घंटे की अकाउंटिंग जो महीने में 2 घंटा लगाना है, उसका भी आपको 10,000-10,500 रुपया मिलता है. So this is what the opportunity, the only thing is you have to grab it, and for that you have to have a commitment in your mind that yes, I wanted to go for this. And if you have that commitment, I'm sure you would be able to get whatever you would like to get. This is all what I would like to share from my side as far as the work from home is concerned. Yes, we are trying to create a, during the last meeting, we have requested to the speakers also who were in practicing in as insolvency professionals and as a valuer, we are trying to connect with them, and we are trying to create a platform at CIRC level where we are trying to create a panel for the members who wanted work from home, and we are trying to create a panel of the friends who would like to hire the members for on part-time basis. So once we get that panel, I'm sure we will try to match the requirement of each other, and we would be in a position to do whatever we are willing to do by way of this WOW series. So this is all about from my side as far as the work from home is concerned. I'm sure I won't be able to do the justice as far as the justice which Yogita Anand might have done. But yes, in her absence, it was my duty to share my views as far as work from home is concerned. And if any question is there from any of the member, please let me know. I would be able to answer the question. Vishnuji, this recording of this webinar shall be available maybe in a day or two. If you want, then either you can take it from the website or from the YouTube channel of CIRC, that is there, or otherwise you may be able to get it from the website of CIRC of Kanpur. Any question? If any question is there from any of the member? There is no question from any of the members, so let's conclude the session. Today we are well within the time. So if Devendra Somani ji is there, then he's also not there. So again, I am handing over the charge to you for concluding the session and further proceedings of the program.
Thank you, CA Atul Agrawal sir. You have explained us in a very nice manner how to work from home, and you are always available for the profession. And even today, in such a short notice, you are ready to fill the gap. I'm very hopeful that my female viewers will take benefit of today's both the sessions. Now, again, I will request to you only for formal vote of
Again, I am very much thankful to the speaker of today's session, CA Reena Bhargav ji, moderator CA Rekha Somani ji, Chairman CP Committee CA Devendra Somani ji, Chairman Nilesh Gupta ji, and Secretary Shashikant ji, Treasurer Dinesh ji, and the attendees who are present here in this today's program. I am sure, I know there is another program going on behalf of the Central Committee, but still we have the members with us who wanted to listen and who wanted to understand, who are motivating us for organizing this program again and again. And I'm thankful to the office from Kanpur, where every staff is supporting us in organizing webinars for the members. I'm really thankful to each one of you. Thank you very much. And I'm sure we all are again meeting on 4th of August, and again on 4th of August, we have one traditional topic where we are going to discuss about protection, and we are going to have some non-technical topic, maybe related to some motivation and all. So with these words, I am once again thankful to each one of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, please. End kar dijiye, Khan sir.